Hi, welcome back to the channel, TrainStation 2. Alright, hopefully my luck continues in the knife competitions, and I managed to increase the completions in the center village to 86%. That means that the new customers is working. So busy preparing for the knife competition before it starts, and at the end of this video I'm going to show you I'm lucky to be first again in the knife competitions, but that's just to start, as I believe people will be struggling to fight all the way in the last two competition, i.e. number 9 and number 10. So I do hope that my luck continues as usual with a group of very chill and relaxed competitors. That's the most important of all, and that is only made possible if you start late. And I always advocate of starting late in competition, because that's the only way you can group together with a chill group of competitors. Alright, seems like my furniture and textile factory is full. In order for you to shift the production of tables forward, this is how you do it, which is to remove things that are placed in forward and then replace it with the tables by shifting, because at the end of the day, with the limited warehouse spacing, that's the only way to go about. So as you can see, I'm always also mentioning about having your warehouse located within your factories. So what I'm saying is basically using the input and output tray of your factories to act as your interim warehouse, as additional warehouse spacing, because with the limited warehouse spacing that we have, it's always a headache having to find space for it. And I think the way to we should always focus by having items that what should be placed into the warehouse and what should be placed in the output and input tray of the factory. You're going to decide for yourself, but for me, maybe if you wish, you can follow. So I just want to, some of you may have already heard this in my other videos, but if you have not heard this before, I just wish to share very quickly. Alright, level 206, very great. Get more keys for more trains, hopefully. Alright, so I'm back to sharing in terms of the interim warehouse spacing. So how it works is basically, for me, like for example, you have steel and copper. Steel you can get straight from the factory directly. Hence, definitely you're not going to store steel in the factory itself. But copper, it will take maybe like half an hour to create a good number of it, and then that's why I always store factory with copper only. Right? So, grabbing steel, go straight to the factory where it's located, the steel factory itself in the maps of region 1. And then if you need copper, you have it straight off in your own factory, right? So that's where you work with the smelting plant itself. So that's how I always do it. And of course, there are other 5 more factories we can talk about. Like for example, if you talk about timber, of course, you can grab directly from the timber factory as well. So you may want to wish to create other things like pallets and whatnot in that factory. Of course, if you are waiting to accumulate logs, which is to make into timber, what you could do to save space and save time, you could actually collect those logs and then create them as timber, but provided you have already stored your production, i.e. you have already filled out your production line and it doesn't move. Putting logs into your timber factory itself basically is just as an interim warehouse spacing in the input tray. So anytime you can convert those planned production of timber back to logs instantaneously. Alright, so that's how I do it. If I wish to accumulate logs, that's what I do. But of course, another easy way out is to basically you get a couple of minutes, go and send your trains and grab all the logs that you want. Alright, so that's another way to go about this. Okay, so as for the one that produces glue and of course those plastics, probably I'll try to maintain a balance, a mixture of both, because sometimes you know that you need those plastics to make the plastic chairs. You need 200 of them, so that is also something you can consider. Like what I mentioned about the logs, converting the timber, you could do the same. If your furniture factory is filled to the brim, you could actually use 200 plastics to make a plastic chair in the input tray. Like now you see your production will be stored subsequently, so you can actually store your plastics, 200 plastics per slot in the furniture factory input tray, because you are thinking to convert the 200 plastics into one plastic chair that will only occupy one space in the furniture factory. Whereas if you put 200 plastics, i.e. 100 lots per slot in the factory that creates plastics, you are taking up two space in that factory. So that is also how you manage and save factory spaces, which acts as your interim warehouse. Alright, so and for me, I mean, besides Christmas factory, that's how I deal with it. But for Christmas factory, I'm running it round the clock. Basically, given the fact that the experience I had with this reindeer event and so-called this Christmas event, Christmas items are hot items. In every single reindeer, you'll find Christmas items requested. So there's no way you have too many of the Christmas items that you can't use. So in other words, I'm running the production line of the Christmas factory round the clock, gathering all the fabric and the envelopes as and when, probably maintaining more towards fabrics, like 5 fabrics for every 2 envelopes I'll collect. So I'll always send up 7 trains to do that, and around the clock production, round the clock storing of them into the warehouse itself. So never store your items in the Christmas factory, because that is not your interim warehousing, that is your event production line. Alright, so you gotta separate that from your main factory. I have 6 main factory and 1 Christmas factory itself, so that's the difference between the two kind of factories. Alright, talking about the other types, I mean nails, example, you may want to wish to store them, because nails are really useful. You not only can make chairs, you can make other stuff as well. And of course, those that produces milk, wool, and flour. Flour, since you have if you have already obtained the flour factory, definitely not producing flour in that factory, because you can grab straight away from the flour factory in France. But if you needed, for example, milk, you have to produce them yourself, and definitely wool as well. So likewise, when it comes to a new item like salt, that's something added that I got to maintain a good balance of it. So sometimes it's a bit of balancing, and also the fact that what you receive from the customer's request as well. So that is something of works for you. But you can see me balancing wool, salt, as well as milk itself. So that's how I try to maintain a balance. So as and when I need it, I'll try to grab it. Alright, so and in maintaining also called housekeeping your main warehouse, is really to remove those items that is in the single digit or even double digit sometimes, or even those that you have already a lot, like I have 490 chairs. I could actually reduce some more chairs if I wish to, because we are running a competition right now. Of course, you were saying that, wow, chairs takes a time to create, and it requires timber and nails, and it's quite wasteful. Yes, I totally agree with you. Throwing chairs is a bit painful, but nonetheless, you got to be prioritized in terms of what you really want. Do you want to win the competition? Yes, right. So there's no way out, given the fact that we have a small warehouse space. Then of course we got to give away some of the chairs. So again, you may be wondering why I have such a small warehouse spacing. It's because of my ignorance in the game when I first started playing. As per any other games you play, definitely leveling up to bring benefits. But I got to mention this time and again in TrainStation 2, leveling up doesn't bring lots of benefits. Alright, what you need in working your train station is basically you need to maintain a high capacity of trains. So in every train you collected, try to upgrade as high as possible in terms of capacity. That would reduce the number of trips you need to make with the good high capacity train. Second, have all the trains collected in that region, as many as possible. I mean, if you miss 1 or 2, perfectly fine. That you could hopefully through the seaport event claim back those missing trains. But never spend gems on buying train containers, because that is too wasteful. Spend gems only in factory upgrades. Alright, and you can see here, Christmas factory is an event factory. Upgrading this factory is only for the event duration, so you got to think twice whether you upgrade all the way. If it's a long event like this, I don't mind upgrading twice, i.e. having 4 slots. But in a normal short event, I will normally just upgrade once, i.e. having just 3 slots. As for the rest of the factory, by all means spend your gems in investing into the factory upgrade, because it's a long-term investments, and you got a long-term benefit from it, definitely. Alright, so as I said, it's an interim warehouse spacing, so actually you are investing not only in production line, but rather you are investing into warehouse spacing, because in the main warehouse we definitely need to collect lots and lots of population increase requests, i.e. your building requests for upgrades, but that needs a lot of blue maps itself. So those blue maps you need to get from the captain, which is a sea trade. It doesn't come frequent, once a day, and sometimes you don't even have time to clear those sea trades. So getting those blue maps are really precious. If possible, complete the sea trades, but do not jeopardize your competition. So competition first, sea trade second. Alright, then get those blue maps, upgrade the buildings, get the population, increase your warehouse. But how to go about it, getting the best deal out of upgrading your buildings for population? Use the 5 building techniques. As I mentioned, always have the special building in the center surrounded by 4 basic buildings, which is be it your school or basically condos and whatnot. Alright, so parks or even, right? So what you're going to do is with the 5 building technique, or with 5 buildings laid out, you will always have 4 upgrade requests. Being away those that you can't work out, i.e. not enough blue maps, or things that you think that you'll be take a while to get. But normally I'll just bean away those that request blue maps, and lots of it. So that will generate time whereby they ask for other colored maps, which I have tons of it, but not blue maps. And then I can carry out the upgrades of the building smoothly and increase the population, and then have the warehouse upgraded. These 5 building techniques I came in too late into it. I only came in when I had in region 3 when I read about it. If you're still in region 1, congratulations, quickly implement the 5 building technique. Who knows, even before you hit to region 3, you may have already more warehouse spacing than I had. Alright, at the same time, I'm going to mention that collecting coins is really critical. As and when it's available, just collect it. You may think that you are rich right now because after the event, like me, I have 200,000 I collected from the event so far, and every single upgrade after region 3 is extremely expensive. And I must say, in region 5 right now in Canada, upgrading trains are exorbitant. Look at my balance right now. I spent about 135,000 upgrading trains, so that's really a lot of money gone within a couple of days. So please do remember, collect lots and lots of upgrade materials. They are really important. Spend all those money to upgrade all your trains in region 1, 2, maximum the capacity, because they're really cheap. Why so? Not only it helps you in the event, it will only helps you in your HQ points, which allows you to claim more rewards from your headquarters. Alright, so I'm really working on the knife competition right now, and really having quite lucky, I must say, getting first at the start. And of course, wishing my luck continues, and I wish yours too. Good luck for your knife competition. Work hard. 2 more to go. Endure all the way. Goodbye.